Hi guys, this is your Friday, May 8th science review for the week. So what you're going to need your science workbook on page 27. We're going to start on the pro page. You also need to have a red pen or some type of colored pencil or something to make corrections. And yeah, let's go and get straight into it so it doesn't have to be a long video, okay? Before I forget, please make sure that you're going onto the science website and turning in your videos. I've already created a YouTube video to show you guys how to check to make sure things are submitted. I am leaving it up to you guys to make sure that you're checking your grade section on the website to see what's turned in and what's not turned in. You're able to join my Zoom videos and I can help you guys through that process, but I'm not going to reach out every week to let you guys know what you are missing. I'm going to start leaving that on you guys because you're independent enough that you guys should know how to be able to check. So I've given you guys the videos on how to check, so please make sure you're doing that. And then remember, if you guys are confused or if you're struggling, just join my Zoom videos and I will walk you through it, or I can help you guys check that way. Okay, so let's go ahead and share my screen and get into the science for the week. Okay, here we go. So this week we are talking about plants and animals. So the pro page looks like there's a girl named, is it Taylor and Ben, and there looks like there's like a flower pot right here. It says 2 friends are talking about what plants need to make more plants. Which friend has a better idea? So Talia, I think it's Talia, says, I think some plants need animals to help them make more plants. And then Ben says, I disagree. Animals don't help plants make more plants. They eat plants. So what you should have done was you should have chosen who you thought was correct. And we're going to come back to this at the end of the video to see your answers. And then obviously during my video, at any point, if you want to change your prediction, you can go ahead and make a new prediction. That's totally fine. But you did need to explain yourself down below. So I'm sorry, right here. So explain your thinking. So I agree with Ben because blah, 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 blah. Or I agree with Talia, because blah, 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 blah. You need to explain your thinking right here. Okay? So that was page 27. Let's see. The next thing on our list, let me move this one over, sorry, was to go to page 28 and 29, which is this page right here. Remember, my video looks so different because it's the teacher side, the teacher edition. Okay, so we had to do page 28 and 29, and then we also had a video to watch, which is called Birds with Seeds. Here we go. How do animals help plants? So if you look right here, there's a really cute sheep. Unfortunately, there's all these things that are in his little wool coat. I have no idea what it is. I can even click on this and zoom in. Oh my gosh. Can I zoom in? Here. This. So I don't know if you guys can see, there's like these little things that are all stuck in him. Do you guys have an idea of what it is? If not, think of an idea right now. It does not look like comfortable. That's all I could think of. Okay, that was page 27. Now on page 28, I guess mine is actually going to start with the video, but I'm also working in my workbook with you guys. And then on the workbook page, it says to go online and to watch Birds with Seed to see the phenomenon in action. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. I see 2 birds. It looks like there's some snow, little sunflower seeds. Looks like they're picking it up in their mouth, dropped it, picked up another one, and he's going to fly away with that seed, okay? So on page 29 of your workbook, it says, look at the photo of the sheep and watch the video of the bird. What do you observe and how are these animals helping plants? Share your ideas. So you should have written your answer in that box. And then here are some examples that they gave. They said, for example, both animals are carrying seeds. Oh, so it looks like the sheep right here has parts of the plant on his wool coat. These animals carry the seeds to a new place. The seed drops or falls off and takes root. So take root means it's planted. Then it grows into a new plant. So they're saying that animals help, like for example, that bird that picked up the sunflower seed, let's say he picks up the seed and he's flying to his nest and he accidentally drops the seed and it just lands, and all of a sudden that little sunflower seed is going to fall into the dirt, and then the dirt's going to kind of get on top of it through like wind or erosion, which we've learned about. And then what's going to happen is that seed's going to sprout roots and then eventually start a whole new sunflower. So that is how that bird, in that case, helped that sunflower find a new spot to grow. Okay. So that was first part of Monday's work. And then it said we had to do page 32 and page 33. Let me go to my workbook page, and it looks like we're going to be reading a story, which is this one right here. Okay, so now before I share this, remember I'm in my workbook page. It does look a little bit different sometimes, but you're going to see them kind of broken up. But I'm going to first start with the vocabulary. So it says vocabulary. Look at these words as you read. We have disperse, pollen, seed, flower, and pollination. Okay, so let's go back to science. All right, and here is the part that we're going to be reading. There are many kinds of seeds. A seed is a part of the plant that can grow into a new plant. Seeds have special parts that work together. The inside of a seed holds a tiny young plant. It also holds food for the new plant. It also holds food the new plant needs to use to grow. So for example, we have that sunflower seed, right? Some of us have eaten sunflower seeds, right? They have the shell, and inside that shell is a little bit of like a seed, right? So that seed inside, they're saying, is used to grow a new plant. In this case, a sunflower seed comes from a sunflower. So the sunflower would be able to use that little seed and kind of like a baby, right? That's the baby part of it, and then it would start growing until it gets into like adult form of a plant. Okay. All right, let's go to the next slide, or in your case, it's just going to be on the same page on page 32. It says there are many different sizes and shapes of seeds. Look at, let's see, where am I? Here I am. Okay, so it says look at many different sizes and shapes of seeds. Look at the anise, flower, and seeds below. What do you notice about their shapes? So, oh my gosh, how cool is that? So it looks like here's the white flower. I think this is, yeah, the anise plant, and then these are the seeds. So if we click on this one and I zoom in for you guys, it looks like there's like little white flowers. They almost look like the size of a star. That is super cool. And here's actually what the seed looks like. So here's actually the star shape of that white little flower that I showed you. This one looks like it's a little bit dried up. And then inside here, this little pocket holds that seed. Do you guys see that? That's actually really cool. All right, now here is a marigold plant and the seeds. So right here is a marigold plant. So the marigolds are those really, really pretty orange flowers right here. So here's the marigold. Now, if I look right here, I don't see the seeds, but they actually show us a close-up picture. These seeds are like these little sticks. I've never seen that. That is so cool. I wonder where those are. Maybe it's like inside the petal. So this is the marigold seed and the plant right here. Okay. So when I look at this shape, I see like the pod, or what holds this, is like a star, and like the seed itself is like round, almost like a teardrop, or like a little raindrop. And then these marigold plants, their seeds are actually like sticks, which are super interesting. I've never seen that before. That's so cool. Let me make this bigger for you guys. Oh my gosh, how cute. Okay, so it says how seeds travel. Seeds need to be dispersed or moved to a new place. So disperse means to be like to move, right? Some seeds travel by wind. I would underline that. That's kind of important. Let me see if I can highlight that for you guys. I'm going to highlight this. I think that's kind of important. Well, let me highlight it. Cool. I did not know that. Okay. These kinds of seeds are usually very small and light. So if they're light and small, they travel by wind, and they can travel long distances, so they can go really, really far. Other seeds are too heavy to travel by wind. These seeds are carried by animals. I'm going to highlight that. Okay. So I know that they could travel by wind, and now they could travel by animals. Some have parts that stick to the animal's fur, so kind of like that little sheep. The seed falls off when animals reach a new place, and the seeds then take root and grow into new places. So here's this really, really cute animal, like a little hamster. I don't know. Animals also eat the seeds. They may leave seeds behind in a new place, kind of like us. I don't know if you guys ever been to like a baseball game. Or like sometimes I play softball, right? So when I play softball, sometimes we always like bring sunflower seeds. And when you eat sunflower seeds, I don't know about you, but sometimes if I have a handful, I might drop some on accident. So, you know, I am dispersing seeds too. Okay. So and animals does the same thing almost, because they also like to eat the seeds like we do. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Oh my gosh, look how cool this one. It says, write a caption for the photo below and tell how the shape of these seeds help them disperse. Remember, disperse means to like go to a different place, to travel further away. So this is called a maple seed tree. So kind of look at it. These almost look like, I don't know about you, but I thought of a wing. Okay, so think about wings. What are wings used for? They're used to fly. So how do you guys think that this travels? Do you think it travels by wind? Does it travel by animals, or how do you think it travels? So put your answer below. Here's an answer that they gave. Maple tree seeds are shaped like wings, and this helps them easily be carried by the wind. So it almost like kind of does like a propeller, and then it flies off. You guys have seen leaves fall. It doesn't just fall straight down. It's lighter, so it's picked up by the wind and it travels that way. So I'm sure the shape actually helps it travel further away. All right, here's the next part was, so I finished my workbook page, but then on Monday it says to watch the video Plants and Animals. Hold on, is that right? Plants and Animals Work. So let's go and watch this together.
How can animals help plants grow? Let's take a walk through the woods and see what we find. Animals help plants in two main ways: pollination and seed dispersal. Pollination is the transferring of pollen from one plant to another. After pollination, new seeds can form. Seed dispersal is the way seeds move from a plant to the ground. If plants disperse their seeds in a large area, more new plants can grow. Let's see if we can find some examples of pollination and seed dispersal in action. Let's see if the kids were able to find examples of pollination. Oh, this bee is pollinating the flower. Flowers have a sticky powder inside them called pollen. When bees land on flowers, pollen sticks to their legs and their bodies. When the bees visit the next flower, some of this pollen stays on the new flower. Now, this flower can form new seeds. This is pollination. Here's a butterfly. Butterflies also help spread pollen. Pollen sticks to the butterfly's legs, and the butterfly carries the pollen to the next flower it lands on. Let's see if the kids were able to find any examples of seed dispersal. Do you see that squirrel? What is it carrying? Oh, it's an acorn. Did you know that an acorn is a seed from an oak tree? Some seeds, like acorns, are heavy. They can't spread by blowing in the wind. Acorns have another way to travel. They can be carried by animals. Squirrels carry acorns and then bury them to eat later. But sometimes they forget to eat them. When the squirrel forgets an acorn, the seed can grow into an oak tree. There's a chipmunk. What is it doing? It's eating fruit. This is another example of seed dispersal. Seeds grow inside fruit. When animals eat fruit, seeds might pass right through their bodies. When the animal plants the seeds, new plants grow. Oh, look, one of the kids has a burr stuck to her pants. Have you ever touched a burr? They are very prickly. Plants keep their seeds inside of burrs. When animals or people get too close to a burr, it will stick to them and then fall off in another area. This is another form of seed dispersal. Wow! Pollination and seed dispersal are happening all around us. The next time you're out exploring, see if you can find any examples of animals helping plants.
Okay. So that was cool. That kind of just showed how all those how animals play a role in helping the dispersal of seeds and actually planting new seeds in that sense. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna go out of here. Now we finished everything from Monday. Tuesday, we are doing the inquiry activity, workbook page 34 and 35, and there is a video. We are actually going to watch the video first to walk us through the steps, and this one actually should have been a fun simulation for you guys. So let's see. Where is my video? Sorry, these are everything that I had assigned. Okay, so let me stop sharing. Now in the workbook page, it said, investigate how the shape of a seed affects the ways to travel. And then it says, explore how seeds travel using your seed simulation. Make a prediction. Will a heavy seed go farther if it is carried by wind or by an animal? So let's think about, we're gonna make a prediction. Let's say an acorn. An acorn's kind of a heavy seed. Do you guys think that an acorn is gonna travel further by wind, or do you think it's gonna travel further by an animal such as maybe a squirrel? Okay. So right now, right here, you should make your prediction. I predict that a seed's gonna travel further by, and then you guys put your prediction in, okay? The next thing tells me to carry out the investigation, to open up the simulation, observe how many of each different plants grow, and then I'm gonna record my data on page 35. So I'm gonna open it up and let's try it out together, okay? Hopefully you guys have done this. And you guys have played around with it, okay? It says, welcome to Traveling Seeds. How does the shape of a plant seed help it spread? Here, you have two different types of plants. Each plant has seeds with different shapes. What are different ways seeds travel? Let's find out. Press next. Let's look at the different types of plants and what's happening when nothing helps the seeds travel, okay? So it looks like my dandelions here are just falling straight down. What do they call this? I think they call this a purple plant. And it looks like it's just traveling right here. They didn't really go far, did they? It's just right there. You can even zoom in. Okay, is it just not working for me? Did I give you guys other things to travel with? Huh. Okay, that's weird. I wonder why I didn't do the full thing. Maybe it's just my side. I wonder if it's just me. Okay. Okay, so, in the beginning. So in the beginning, how did the dandelion travel? Let's see if I could share that. Hold on, let me pause. Okay, so I'm gonna share this screen with you guys. Okay, I think I opened up. Okay, so when we first watched this one, we saw just the seeds fall straight down, right? Let me go to the next one. Okay, here it is. Okay, so in the first part, we noticed, I wonder why. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. So I'm watching the video. I had to pause it for a little bit because I think on my side, hopefully you guys got it, but there should be something here that says add win or add animal. For some reason I don't have it. I even tried opening in a different screen and mine's not showing up. So hopefully your guys' did, because mine's not working. And like I said, sorry, this website's been kind of a little bit on the glitchy side. So I'm hoping that it was just my side that had the issue. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I don't have it on mine. Okay, but that's okay. We're gonna make this work. So I'm gonna go back to that page then that that we were working on in the workbook. Let me go ahead and stop sharing. I'll just do it in the workbook right here, guys. Okay, so when you guys first saw the dandelions and the purple plant, I think it started off with 7 plants. And then just as the plant just fell down just normally, so I'm gonna put that there were 7 of each. And just as it fell down, we noticed that there was no new regrowth with the plant, of the purple plant, but the dandelion grew a whole new one. So that's where the 8th one came from. But even then, there wasn't that many. Now, what happened was the wind, the dandelion ones are super light. So the dandelions, I don't know if you guys ever picked them up. They're like the flowers that you pick up. They're weeds and like you blow on it and it travels and stuff. And they travel really far because it's a light seed. So with the wind, actually the dandelion grew more. It should have been, there was like a larger amount, okay? So because we didn't get to watch the full video, I'm gonna put a star next to the wind to show that the wind worked best with the dandelion. Now the purple plant was actually a heavier seed, so the wind didn't take it as far, but what happened was when an animal came in there, it was able to pick up the seed and then travel to further. So what I did was I put a star next to animal with the purple plant. Yeah, sorry about that. I hope your guys' worked better than mine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through questions 5 and 6, and we're just gonna go from there. It says, which seed grew more plants when the wind was blowing? I'm gonna say that it was the dandelion, and the reason why, because the dandelion seeds are light, and the way that it even looks, it almost looks like an umbrella type of thing, so it picks up, the wind picks it up and it travels. How many more? Of course, I didn't get to see it, so I'm gonna leave that one blank. And this is just observation, so there's no wrong or right answers right now. Did your observations support your prediction? Well, I think, and then with the purple plant, it was a heavier one, so the wind did not travel as far. So my prediction could have been that the wind would help lighter plants travel, but when it comes to heavier ones, I predicted that an animal would take it further. So ultimately, that would have been the answer, was that an animal can help a heavier plant travel or heavier seed travel further. And like I said, sorry about, I hope your guys' worked better than mine. But let's go ahead and go back to sharing my screen. We'll go to the next page. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about those questions. So like I said, please don't worry about this one. Sorry, it was kind of a little bit of a tricky one. So we're going to go ahead and check off Tuesday's science. On Wednesday science, you should have done workbook page 38 and 39. So I'm going to open my workbook page of 38 and 39, and we are reading a closed reading story. Which is this one right here. All right, so let's go and read this one together. Pollination, we should be reading about. Is this one the pollination? Let me find it. Okay, it was just taking my screen a little bit to load. All right, so here it is, pollination. A flower is the plant part that makes the seeds. So this is the plant right here. And then I've got right here, which is the little seeds. These are like my pollination and my little seeds and my leaves and my stem. It says flowers help make new plants. They have special parts. The middle part of the flower is where pollen and nectar are made. So this little green thing is where all of that pollination is and all the nectar is. Sometimes that's what like the birds will eat. Like hummingbirds, they like the nectar inside, or the like butterflies. Pollen is a sticky powder inside the flower. Pollen helps make seeds. Nectar is the sweet liquid that helps attract hummingbirds and bees and other insects. So right here is the pollen, which gets stuck sometimes to animals or like bees in that one video. And then inside here, there'll be that liquid juice, which we call nectar. Animals and flowers. My favorite bird. Some animals are attracted to a flower's smell. Some are attracted to the bright colors. A bee drinks a flower's nectar and gets covered in pollen. The bee then goes to another flower. It moves the pollen to the new flower. The new flower can then make a new seed. This seed will be able to grow into a new plant. Pollination is how pollen is transferred from one plant to another. Butterflies, hummingbirds, and other insects help with pollination. Okay? So that was it for the first part of Wednesday. And then we had to do page 40, which was about the bees. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Okay, so then now we're going to learn about what beekeepers do. So, all right, what does a beekeeper do? All right, wow, so here's the beekeeper. Looks like it's in a little safe netting, and there's a zillion bees. Look at this little box. Looks like there's something in it. Let's go ahead and read all about it. Beekeepers wear a special hat and gloves to help keep them safe from bee stings. Beekeepers. Beekeepers take care of large groups of bees. Bees live in colonies. Each colony can have more than 100,000 bees. Beekeepers take care of bees by providing bee hives. The bees leave their hives to go out and pollinate flowers. They also collect pollen to bring back to the hive. Then they make honey. So they use all that pollination to make the delicious honey that even some of us like to eat. Do you enjoy caring for insects and spending time outdoors? You could be a beekeeper too. You can read books to learn how to become a beekeeper. You can also take a class in your community. That would be super cool. All right, so then the next thing we had to do was then you had to watch a video. It was more of a simulation video where it was like hands-on, and it was about the beekeepers. So I'm going to skip to that one right now. Okay, so it should have been this one right here. So it says, explore the farm and learn how bees use pollination to help produce honey. So I'm going to start with number 1. And when I click on it, it tells me honeybees can find their way back to the hive from up to 3 miles away. Many beekeepers place their hives, I think it's supposed to be hives, near fields with lots of flowers. Bees pollinate nearby flowers with collecting nectar and pollen from the hive. So that's pretty cool. 3 miles, that's insane. Let me go back. Click on number 2. So number 2 looks like it's that box. Oh, wow. Bees return to the hive. So that's what the box is, where they were man-made hives. Bees return to the hives with stored nectar and pollen that provide food for the hive. So that's how they get food to all the other bees, is by collecting the nectar to make honey. And then number 3, ooh, look at this. It's called a honeycomb. This is one of the hives. So it looks like the hive is these big things of like sheets of wood. Beekeepers check on their hives regularly to keep them healthy. They inspect the hives to make sure no other bugs or animals have gotten in, and that the bees have enough space for new honey production. So that's so cool. Look at this whole hive. That looks insane. Number 4, the beekeepers remove the honeycombs to produce honey to sell or to eat. So I don't know if you guys know, but this little part right here is actually wax. And then inside is where like the pollen is, and which is honey. And then these are a whole thing is called a honeycomb, and they take that out. And then when they take it out, they can produce honey. Super cool. And number 5, the combs must be scraped to produce liquid honey that can be bottled to sell. A group of beehives can produce 50 to 250 pounds of honey every year. That is insane. All right, so we have finished Wednesday, and now Thursday should have been your review. In your workbook, page 44. So let's go ahead and open this one up. And I think I have to go back to the pro page today. So, all right, how do animals help plants? So this is back to that one page, right? Explain how animals help plants make more plants. So then you should have written your answer. This is an example that they said. Animals help plants by dispersing seeds, so moving seeds. Some carry seeds to a new place. They drop the seed and it takes root. Others carry pollen from one flower to another. So you could tell me that they drop seeds which disperse it, or you can tell me that they help with pollination. So I would have taken both of those answers. The next thing says revisit the probe page. And who did you guys agree with? If you want to change your prediction, you may do so now. Let me go ahead and pull up I'm going to pull up the probe page right now. So you should be returning to your workbook page 27. If you want to make a change, you may do so right now. All right, here it is. Okay. Okay, so we were looking at Talia and Ben, and then you should have chosen who you thought was correct. Remember, Talia's ideas was that she said, I think some plants need animals to help them make more plants. And Ben said, I disagree. Animals don't help plants make more plants. They eat the plants. Well, after learning about all this information, you guys should have gone with, with Talia. For example, I think some plants need animals to help them spread their seeds so that they can make more. So an example of an animal could be a squirrel with the acorn, because he took it somewhere else, the bird with the sunflower seeds, or even the bees with the nectar and carrying the pollen. And yeah, so those were examples. So you guys should have agreed with Talia, okay? Now I'm gonna go back to my workbook page. Let's go to page 45. All right, so here was a picture of a dandelion. Oh, this is what I was talking about, that's the seed that it almost looks like a parachute, and the wind picks that up. So here's a dandelion seeds, and then here's a monarch butterfly, okay? Which sentence describes a way that the dandelion seeds could be dispersed? So the wind blows the seeds stick to the animal's fur, rain falls on the dandelion, or a child picks the dandelion and carries it to school, or all of the above. So which sentence describes a way that the dandelion seed could be dispersed? Well, I would agree that the wind can carry it. Can this seed stick to an animal? Sure. Rain falls on the dandelion, so if it falls, it's heavy, and then it falls to the ground, so that would disperse it there. A child, like you guys might pick it up, blow on it, and then that wind kind of carries it away. So I would go with E, all of the above. What did you guys choose? If you chose E, all of the above, you were correct, okay? And then the second question says, how does the structure of a flower help help a butterfly pollinate it? So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So here is where the nectar is, right? And think about the petals around it. How does this structure, so how does the makeup of what a plant or a flower look like? How does it help this butterfly? So some examples you could have told me was the pollen of the flower is sticky, and the shape of the flower makes it easy for the pollen to stick to the butterfly. So you could have told me that with it being sticky, it sticks to the butterfly. You could tell me that it's big enough for the butterfly to land on it and to soak up the juice. I would even talk about that maybe the butterfly is light enough to land on the petals, that it can kind of like sit on the petals of the flower and eat the pollen that it needs, or the nectar. So that's just what I would have said. And then we needed to go to page 46. And page 46 says, you are a community leader. People want to get rid of insects in the community garden. What would you tell them? Write a speech to explain how insects help plants. Write your speech on a separate sheet of paper. So for example, an insect would be a bee. And we just learned that bees are extremely important because bees pollinate, so they collect pollen from flowers and take them to another flower. So they're actually planting new plants, essentially. You can also tell me that, you know, we need those bees because they give us honey. I don't know about you guys, but I like a peanut butter and honey sandwich sometimes. So your speech would basically be saying like how you want, you know, insects to continue to go to the garden, or to go to the community garden, so that they can continue to pollinate for us, that they continue to make honey for us. What questions do you still have about the seeds that are dispersed? Maybe you want to know what happened, what's the biggest seed? That's what I would want to know. What's the largest seed? What are other ways that seeds can be carried? Might be a good question. So they said, this was an example. The plants in our garden need insects. Insects help plants make new plants. They do this by carrying pollen from one plant to another. And then some of the questions that they suggested were, how far can seeds travel? That's a good one. What is the farthest distance a seed has traveled? That's a really good one too, okay? That's it for your science video for the week. And remember, any of those pages that we skipped, you're more than welcome to. Make sure your videos are turned in. I'm really sorry about the video with the wind. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully you guys had a better shot than I did of getting it done. All right, that's it for Unit 4, Week 2. Next week will be Unit 4, Week 3. make sure to watch my video on Sunday of me going over the schedule so you can fill in what your new science is. All right, guys, you guys have a great Friday and a fantastic weekend. Also tell your mothers that I said Happy Mother's Day because it's this Sunday. Give them extra love, okay? All right, bye, guys.